Hey guys, Dragonworm here, back with another episode of Kerbal Space Program, and today we're going to be going ahead and looking at the vehicle assembly building, which does kind of like vertical constructions and such things like that. I'm going to go ahead and load a spacecraft here, and the one that I've kind of found success with is this one. So what you'll see that I've done on this one is it's kind of a mess. If you'll remember from my last video, I've made a few modifications to the SkyStar, most notably the RCS fuel section and the RCS thrusters. I think that's about it that was altered on here. Obviously, yeah, the advanced canards too to help with stability during launch. It does make it a little bit. Whoops. Yeah, we're not going to be doing much with this one. This is just kind of to show you basically what's going on with it. Bottom has 12 of these really fast liquid fuel. Not those. These with the max thrust of 200. It also has these solid rocket boosters to help get it up even quicker. So these come off first during the stages, then these pop off, leaving from this thruster up. It's kind of what's going into orbit. This main kind of thrust, this I call it like a 1.5 stage because these little boosters come off and then this one comes off. This stage, unfortunately, is incredibly unstable. I don't really know why, but I'm guessing it has to do with its stubbiness. Like, it's pretty stubby. It might be heavy towards the back because it tends to roll a lot, and the SAS system has a really hard time with it. So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go to the launch pad, and I'll show you guys sort of what's going on here. Hopefully what ends up happening while this loads up is it didn't save that last thing where I tore off the SAS module, because that's not good. I really need those to keep this thing stable. Okay, so good, it didn't do that. So I'm going to go ahead and pop on the sickness avoidance system. I'm going to throttle all the way up, and you guys will hopefully see a pretty decent launch. I've done this a few times, and I've already got one of these up there. So I'll go ahead and launch now. The frame rate is probably a disaster right now, but hopefully things will improve. So yeah, we're about to take off these first stage boosters as soon as the fuel runs out. And I put it in 2 stages because if you knock the 3 stages off at the same time, they'll usually crash right into the bottom of the rocket and ruin these guys' lives. So as you guys can see, it's doing pretty good. A little shaky. Those canards that I popped on there are flailing. So basically, this delivery system is going to get us right about to just that last notch on that very dark blue section, and then that's where things get a little hairy. For the most part, this is just a lot of watching the system go, but hopefully this time, like the other times, I'll be able to get this into orbit for you. And if I don't, it'll probably explode, and that'll be funny. So about 300 meters a second right now. I guess I should also talk a little bit about the design here too. It uses these fuel tanks on the outer ones first, and then you'll see that there are actually 3 a set of 3 inner ones that are connected via fuel tubes to the other stage. The reason I had to do this was I know it adds more to the weight, but it also tends to, it just doesn't make it up far enough without them. So it's pretty much an adequate balance. So you're going to probably start seeing it tilting a little bit to the left, and once that happens, yeah, I'm going to have to throttle down a lot to prevent the problem. What I'm going to do though, just this time, is I'm going to keep it all the way up, even though it's got a lot of angular momentum, because it'll probably start righting itself, and that'll be okay. Because we want it to have a little bit of an off-center trajectory, just because we need our... Okay, so that's separated, but what we need it to do is get far enough away from those components. It's going to turn on RCS a little bit, turn it off again, and then this is the ugly part. I'm going to start a low burn probably once this gets a little bit below 1,000 meters per second, just so I can clear those other pieces, and then we'll get going with a low burn. And that's probably good. Yep, okay, we cleared the mess, which is good. Turn on RCS. Turn off SAS. Cut the engines, because it's making life terrible. And turn that off. Turn the SAS back on. Turn it off again, rotate it a little bit more, turn it back on again, use the RCS to bring it up, turn RCS off, and oh, whoops, thought the engine wasn't running. Oof, there it goes. Well, might as well, I guess, use this as a practice landing, because you'll see this gets us really far out, but we just need to be able to get horizontal, and then we would be able to widen our launch arc. So what I'm going to do here, you'll probably see that I have one already in space now. I would switch to it now just to show you guys. However, what it tends to do is it accidentally separates the stages, so it ends up basically doing this to my craft and making it impossible for me to return them safely to planet Kerbal. So what I'll do, yep, more debris, is I'm going to end the flight here, and I'll just start it again. If I go to restart flight, what it'll do is it'll break it a little bit. I have to actually go back into the vehicle assembly building and do this again. So here we go. We're going to try this again. And we still have Bill, Jebediah, and Bob, who are my favorite Kerbals. So SAS is active and launching. Shoots off really far. As usual, Jebediah is having a blast, and the other two are not. Solid fuel boosters are almost spent, and launching them off. Good, okay. So like I said before, this is kind of easy, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this a bit. Right about where the atmosphere starts ending is where the problems begin. But this time I'm actually not going to touch the controls. I'm going to chance it and see if it wobbles over a bit too far or not. I think the only thing I'd really change about this design is probably the the main vehicle, I'd probably switch it to something less complicated. But I just really like the design from the SkyStar, so I wanted to see if I could get something that cool looking into space, and I did. But as you guys will probably know, it doesn't work very well for getting to the moon. It'll only really get you into orbit, so it'll probably be a good design if you guys have mods that involve satellites or things like that. Pretty complicated what's going on here. Actually went ahead and killed the I'll turn RCS on too, couldn't hurt. I think part of the problem is the RCS system is, wait, that's actually complete opposite of what I want you to do. You come back up like this. And then I'll start firing once this stabilizes a little bit more. Oof, this thing is really tough. That's over. Gonna go ahead and separate the stage. RCS fuel's doing okay. Go ahead and turn it off. It's a little out of control. I don't like that about this design. It's just this stage it's really easy to get out of control. I'm gonna go ahead and start the engine here. I really would like it if it would get some control. Whoa! Oh, not good. Okay. That's alright though, because I think what's going to happen here is that arc is going to widen. Well, why is it arc? Oh god. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Wrong way. It was widening before. Ugh, so much failure. Trying to get the SAS to gain some control. Just not quite doing it. Are we finally in a decent arc? Yes, I think so. The apoapsis is pretty low, but the fact that our arc is widening. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get into orbit because we will run out of fuel before this, I think, reaches around the planet. unfortunate. Yep, that was it. Did not make it across. Huh. Well, okay. At least we can possibly take this as an opportunity to land. We'll separate now. We'll warp around, see if we can't kind of take control. And yeah, we're probably gonna fall back into. It's always over water. I can never land where I want to. Woo! Look at that spin. If I add RCS to it, it'll probably start snapping pieces off. Well, the SAS definitely does a good job of keeping things kind of from going too far out of control. Let's see where our momentum is taking us. It's probably going to be another aquatic landing. Whoa! Oh, wow. Okay. I cannot believe what just happened. That is amazing. Never seen that before. Jebediah is still loving this so much. It's going to splash down hard and probably kill our friends. Your valiant effort will not be forgotten. As you plummet. Yep. Oof, down into the ocean. I think those are all, yeah, there's a lot of debris. I'm probably going to try and get rid of some of those just because it's kind of aggravating to see, but you'll see I had a lot of launches and they got into orbit right here. And I think that one is probably still in good shape. I want to see what the flight readout has to say about it. And then I'll try one more time to get this one into orbit, and then I might switch over to the other one that I got into orbit last night. Hoping I'd be able to show you guys that his system actually does work. It's just a little shaky on the once that first stage separates. And I definitely need to throttle down on that ascent, otherwise it'll overturn and cause lots of problems. Try and speed this up. Try to turn on SAS and see if I can't control things a little bit better. Maybe prevent the deaths. It may not, but hey, we're giving it a try. I don't have any RCS left, just a command module and some advanced canards. does seem to be kind of slowing them down, so maybe they won't die. It'd be quite miraculous. They're just kind of wafting in the breeze. Speed this up a little bit. Yep, slowly but surely they're gonna fall to the ground, or rather the water, and I'm really hoping that they survive, because these are my favorite crew. And well, let's just see. Once it drops a little bit below 100, I'll go ahead and put it on 1x. It's doing a pretty good job of controlling the problems. And we're gonna hit on this next turn. Yep, they died. Oh well, let's see. Structural wing collided with structural wing. Overheating. Everything exploded due to overheating. Well, let's go back to the vehicle assembly building and try one more time. If anything, this will show you guys that some designs are easier to fly than others, and this one, as you could probably tell by my really wonky orbit, that everything starts off real nice and just kind of goes out of control once you get out far enough. So we're going to go ahead and do our launch. About to have that next stage separation now. And it never drops below 130 meters per second there. That's kind of what I always look for, is making sure that I don't basically put things on for no reason, because if it gets faster than the current thrust can maintain and it slows down, don't really know what benefit it is. Heading's good, everything looks great so far. Hopefully these 3 Kerbals will be a little bit better. $10,000 and our climb rate is increasing. I'm a little reluctant to warp things ahead just in case we overturn again. And I have my hand on the throttle, so once we start tilting, I'll throttle back. And that'll probably start happening around 30,000 meters. Almost there. Okay, once we start tilting, I pull back. There we go, tilt. Throttle back down there. Still tilting. Throttle back down here. Turn on some RCS. Trying to prevent that problem. RCS off. I have it on a really low burn because I really don't want it to overturn on me. I'll pop it up a little bit more, see if it it goes okay. And throttling down before we lose. There we go. Separation. And I need to wait a little bit because if I turn on my engines too soon, bad things start to happen. Whoa, what is going on? Hopefully those aren't colliding. SAS seems to be in effect. Let's take a light burn. Increase the burn a little bit. I think we're working against... Yeah, we're working a bit against where we were going. There we go. Alright. So we got a full burn on now. And let's see if we can make this in orbit. How's the apoapsis? Pretty high, that's good. How are we on fuel? Still okay. There's not a whole lot of fuel left when this finishes, but as you can see, we're growing a bit here. Still on that first tank. We should be good to go around the globe. Yeah, and I think we end up with like maybe somewhere around half a tank left of the other one. I think overall this is actually a much, much nicer orbit if we can actually get into the freaking thing. Come on. Almost down to half fuel. Should probably almost there. I'm gonna pull back on the throttle because I want to wait till I'm a little bit further out before I finish up the burn. Probably somewhere around here or so. Slow it back down again, and full burn. Like, there we go. Our throttle wasn't working for a minute there. Maybe I should wait for the apoapsis to catch up, because we should have been in orbit. Or we are in orbit at like 5 million. Whoa! Did not mean to do that. That is awful. That probably screwed us a little bit. Well, screwed the pooch on that one. That is aggravating. I could have done it. I should have waited until I was at the apoapsis and burnt rather than where I was doing. because that's a really nice orbit. But yeah, we're gonna hopefully land in a decent spot. I'll disengage the this stage as soon as we get to a decent spot. Right about here. I'll also go ahead and I'll turn on the engine. See how far down we can get. Whoa, don't crash, don't crash. Jeez. Oh. Oh, this is good. This is somewhat good. Slowing down. Maybe I can pull off a landing finally. I can at least prove to you guys that this will get back in one piece. Or this will end in a fiery explosion. This one is a little different with the landing, because it's a little bit front heavy, but I've landed this before. Gonna try to keep this as straight as I can. Shuttle, don't fail me now. Definitely gonna be hitting the ground too quickly if I'm... Whoa. Whoa, the tree. Jeez. Oh. Whoa. Okay. Well, not quite back where we need to be. Oh. Oh. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and attribute that to the angular ground, okay? I'm not going to take too much responsibility for it. Alright, though. Mission quasi-successful. So go ahead and end the flight. And yeah, that's not a good amount of G-forces. That would kill someone, I think. 5 hours total mission time. It's a nice altitude. But yep, all things must come to an end, though. So we'll go to the tracking station. And my other SpaceStar has been orbiting Kerbal for about 6 hours now. It's doing good. If I click here, the apoapsis is there. And I think the periapsis is in the same spot it has been. So it's not decaying. But you can see it's really hard once you launch to get it sort of exactly where you want the orbit to go. It's a little hard to control, but I would have gotten into orbit correctly had I remembered my physics. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.